There we go.
All right, we're recording. Action.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Nvak songwriting session with Nija. We're so excited to have you.
Thanks.
And Nija is a singer-songwriter, and the recent work that I know of is the one with Beyoncé. So I'm like, oh my God, over here. But my name is Kim. I'm the community manager for the amazing artists that we have from Malawi. We're currently working towards some of their projects and some of their music videos. So we're super excited to have you. We have some questions that we want to ask you. So I hope you're ready. Please feel free to answer as freely as possible.
Of course.
Okay, ready? Do you believe in the concept of putting in 10,000 hours that it will make you good at your craft? And how do you balance your work ethic with artistic energy or emotional connection?
The 10,000 hours concept, I do, but I feel like it's not about putting in so many hours. It's really about working smarter and knowing what you need in order to get to your final destination of what you want to achieve. And I guess, because I know people who are like, I go to the studio every day, and as long as I'm doing it every day, I'll get better, which, is very well true. That's how I got better, by just recording every day. But you also have to, have in mind that of what you've done wrong the previous day in order to get better the next day. So you can put in 10,000 hours and be doing the same thing every day. It doesn't mean you're going to get better. So you have to be conscious of what you're doing and knowing the flaws and being able to better yourself that way. And what was the second question?
The second question was, how do you balance work ethic, grind, with artistic energy or like emotional connection?
Yeah, so I balance my work ethic with, how do I balance it? Honestly, with self-care. Self-care, you definitely take time out of your life to really just focus in on your mental health and just making sure that you're right inside. I remember when I first moved out to LA and I started working, I just wanted to hop to it. So I was working every single day, 7 days a week. And I was doing doubles, and doubles mean I would do like 2 sessions a day. So 2 sessions a day, 7 days a week, and I burnt out and I just wasn't having fun anymore. So what I realized I had to do was be okay with the fact that taking some time away is helpful. It's not me slacking off or not working hard enough. You have to make sure that you're right so that you can see it in the results. So with self-care, I like sitting at home watching TV shows, movies, well, especially during this pandemic. That's really all I've been doing in order to take time out. Again, just whatever you need to do to relax. Sometimes I'll just lay back and close my eyes and listen to some music. I'll make playlists of music that I think is very relaxing. Even watch like YouTube videos, just whatever you can do that really takes your mind off of just having your go. Whatever you can do to take a break from that is what I really do in order to balance my work ethic and everything else.
How do you make sure to always love what you do, even when it's your career or work in quotation marks?
So the way that I make sure I always love what I do is I make sure that, when there are things that I'm not passionate about within, my career, I really have to ask myself, is this something that I'm going to be happy doing? And I've made that mistake sometimes, and it's shown me, it was trial and error, but I can't do it because if I'm not passionate about it, then it won't show in the results. So I make sure that, you know, when I'm working with an artist or a song or a beat, I have to make sure that not to put too much pressure on myself. So as long as I'm having fun, then yeah, all is good.
What's the best phone call news you've ever received in your career?
Ooh, the best phone call news was that Beyoncé wanted to work with me. That was the best news. That was the best phone call I've ever gotten.
Oh my God. What was that feeling like? Can you describe that moment that you had?
You know, when I first had the phone call, I was still kind of weirded out because I'm like, no, something to me was like, this still isn't, you know, yes, I caught her attention, but it's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to meet her. I'm probably not going to work with her. It's probably going to end right here because it just seemed too far of a stretch for it to happen. And this was like really in the beginning of my career. So I was like, I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up. So, you know, I played it very cool at the time that I got the phone call. But I just remember just being overly shocked. Like, Beyonce heard my stuff? What? And she likes it? So yeah, that was really exciting.
Okay, so Chris Brown, Beyonce, and Jay-Z, all these great artists can be sometimes, you know, high pressure initial opportunities. How did you make sure you made them count?
So a lot of times when I go in with, you know, the artists that inspire me, especially like those three, my mind automatically has like a switch button. And that switch button is telling me that I'm in a work environment and, you know, I came here to do what I need to do. And that's all that matters at this very moment. Like, I remember when I first met Beyonce, deep down inside, I really wanted to fan out, but I was in work mode and I did not fan out. But when I got back to the hotel room, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh my God. But yeah, so it finally came out when I was alone. But in the moment, it's just something that's naturally inside of me to just make sure I'm not acting like a fan when I'm in work mode.
Okay, so what keeps you focused, especially in an industry full of temptations and distractions?
I think I've always just been a determined, focused type of person. Like I know what I want at the end of the day. At the end of, you know, I know what my goals are, and those goals that I make are really what keeps me laser focused and tunnel visioned. And until I have those things, there won't be anything to take my focus off of it. And once I complete those goals, I make newer goals. Um, yeah, and that's just always been the way that I've been. So, yeah.
How did you first get into music and songwriting? That moment that made you know that this is what you really wanted to do?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to be in music. Well, I shouldn't say always, but when I was 13, I realized that I really wanted to be a creative in music. I didn't know it was a songwriter at the time, but I was making beats. I wanted to be a producer. And the year before, I had really started diving in and watching Ryan Leslie's behind the scene videos on YouTube, where he would make videos of himself creating songs and producing songs. And that really made me want to try it. So when I was 13, my mom bought me a MIDI keyboard, and I was producing songs in my room. From like 13 to really until I left for college. But it wasn't until like the end of my freshman year of college to like the beginning of sophomore year. So I was 18, turning 19. And that was when I realized, okay, songwriting might be what I was destined to do. And it didn't take long for that to happen, because once I set my mind on, yeah, songwriting is it, I just got to work and made sure that I was even more laser focused when I was in college. I stopped going to parties every weekend. I would only go out sometimes. I made sure that I made one song a day. And I made sure that I networked on Instagram in order to get my stuff out there and just, make connections with people. And like 6 months later, things started picking up, and that was a validation I needed to show me that I was going in the right direction. So I was like, okay, as long as I, have hope, then I'll just keep at it, and this could really be something.
I just want to point out something. I think that laser focus is so important. Like being like, okay, cool. Like this is my job. Like this is my job. I love it, but like this is something I take really seriously, and I'm gonna sacrifice other things in order to be able to make this part of my life happen. And like it's amazing that you figured that out as young as you did, right? Because like I feel like a lot of people don't figure that out till later in life. But the sooner you can click into that mode, right, Kim? Like the better it is for you long term.
Yeah. And I had a little pressure on me, so it was almost like I had no options but to focus, because I remember my mom was saying she was paying for college out of pocket, and she was saying that she can only afford 2 years. So this is my second year, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do next year. And then what made it even worse was that my college had made it mandatory for my school to study abroad in Berlin, and things were starting to pick up just a little bit. And I was like, I don't think that this is the right time for me to go over to Berlin, especially, with, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to afford it. So it was so much more reason for me to really dial in and try to make something happen.
And Nija, you're still really young. You're like still in your early 20s, right? You're like 22, 23 or something?
Yep, I'll be 23 in October.
Oh my God.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
Shall I continue the questions? Anyone else with any comments that they want to make before I proceed?
Yeah, guys, you guys can dive in.
Okay, I'm going to proceed. Cut me if you want to add anything, all right? Nija, what's your favorite way to start a song in a session?
My favorite way always is to hear starts from the producer. It doesn't even have to be a full beat. If he wants to start from, or he or she wants to start from scratch, they could start from scratch. But I just need some chords and just an idea for me to, for it to inspire me. And once I hear an idea that really sparks something, that's when I just go into the booth and I'm like, let's see what happens. And that's just my mindset every session.
I have a question real quick off that. Sorry, Kim, I didn't want to cut you off, but I know you started making beats yourself, and you were saying that that's kind of how you got started. So do you ever go into sessions, making that beat yourself, or you kind of go off the starts, and do you kind of have a preference?
I wish that I want to say had the energy to really co-produce more in sessions now. I probably could if I could. I can't. What'd you say?
You're doing more of the writing now, more so than producing?
Yeah, and it's not because I can't, but what I just realized when I was in college, because when I was in college, I was making beats. The whole reason why I even got into writing in the first place was because I was producing and writing, songs over my tracks, and I would post them on Instagram, and then other producers would see that and would ask me to sing on their beats too. They're like, oh, I love, your writing. Can you do this too? And, even today, I still co-produce with people, like when I'm just in the house, and, I like to do stuff on my time. Sure. And not feel forced, or, just when it comes, it comes. So when I was in college and I started getting more beats and more beats, I had school during the day, homework as soon as I came back from school, and then I made time at night to make a song. And for me, it was kind of a time management thing, because it was like, do I spend all night finishing this one beat that I made, or do I, make like 3 to 5 little ideas on these hundreds of beats that I have already? Right. So for me, it was just like everything was just quicker that way. And I think I just kind of got into a motion where I'm like, this is more efficient for me. And that's why today, when I'm just in the studio, I like, especially the way my mind works when I'm writing, I need everything to go quickly. So I'm just like, yeah, just give me the idea that you started already, and, I'll write to this.
Right. Yeah. And I think the time management thing, like you said, is huge. We actually went to the same school. We went to Clive first, but I totally agree with that when there's work going on in the day, like whether you have a job or you have school and stuff, coming home and figuring out what you can do with the least amount of time, like the most creative you can be. Super cool.
Right. It definitely gets hectic when you're in school. And then at the time, I was interning at a recording studio on the weekends. So it was like my time was all gone. So I really needed to find a way in order to make the best of my time there, and the that I had, in order for me to find a way to make it in the business while I was still in school.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hey guys, really fast, if you're not speaking, can you put yourself on mute so that we don't hear feedback?
I'll go ahead and mute everybody. Just keep it.
Yeah, that too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Sounds amazing. So from all that experience, then, can you tell a hit song from a cool album track? Is that something that's become automatic for you, or like?
For me, it's kind of, I would say 70-30, really, because I can point out a radio record, something that's going to go crazy on the radio, which is usually the single and the hit record. But there's also, we're in a time where TikTok has made songs that you wouldn't even think of being a hit and turning them into a hit. So, there's always those curveballs that you would never think of. But now, when people play me their albums, I can tell you, and sometimes there's some songs that need to grow on me that, are the real hits. But, for me, most of the time when people play me their projects, I can usually pinpoint out the undeniable ones. And I'm like, okay, this one is the one. Like, I remember Trevor Daniel. I don't know if you guys know him, but he has that song, Fallen. My last made me feel like I would never try again, but I'm not. So he has a really big hit right now. And actually, he had put out a project maybe like last year with that song on it, and that wasn't the original single. And when I listened to the project, I was like, I don't know why they're pushing, this other song. This song is, the hit. And that was the only song that I downloaded off of that project. And maybe like 8 months later, here it is, his biggest hit.
That is amazing. How do you get to developing that ear for picking out, like even for writing for yourself? When you're writing, do you know that you're writing a hit song, or are there any elements that can help make a melody memorable or catchy or a song a hit? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me, I never know when something's a hit when I'm actually writing it. I just know, I get a feeling that a song is good and that it makes me feel a certain way. But all of my biggest songs, I've always questioned them. And I think that's just because, I hear my stuff all the time and I'm in my head all the time working. So I think I really do sometimes need that validation from someone else where they're saying, oh yeah, this one is really good. Even though I'm not solely basing it off of their opinion, I know deep down inside that this is a good song. You know, if someone tells me it's bad, I'm not believing them. I just need someone to give me that boost of, oh, this is like better than good. This is great.
Nija, who do you have within your circle? Like, who are those people that you can like rely on? And like, because I think that that's such an important part of this, is like having a crew of people in your corner that believe in you and champion you and like, you know, are looking out for your best interest. Who are those people for you?
Yeah, for me, it's my my manager, my publisher. So my manager usually always knows the songs that will really go crazy in the urban world, and my publisher usually knows all the songs that will go off in the pop world, and that's because those are their lanes. And you know, I can write both, but because I'm in the studio by myself and just relying on myself, I tend to not to know sometimes. So I'm just like, hey, let me just get a second opinion. If I made a pop song, I'll ask my publisher, hey, what do you think of this song? If I made a rap song or an R&B song, I'll ask my manager, hey, what do you think of this song? And, you know, if they're like, it's not my favorite, I'll take that into consideration. But at the end of the day, it's still about what I think of it. And if they say like, oh, this is really good, then I'm like, okay, I was right. Cool. But even if they don't like it, I still wait. You know, I play it for artists and I see what they think. And it's like, that's not the end all be all. So you know, if there's no bites on it within time, then, you know, that's okay. Better luck next time. But I make sure that I try to get as many opinions on it just to see, because, you know, music is subjective. Well, one person may not like, the other will. So
That's such good feedback. One other thing I wanted to ask kind of in relation to that is like, how important do you think rewriting is? Like, let's say you write something and then somebody says like, this part's really cool. Like, do you think rewriting is an important process in songwriting?
You know, personally, I do think it's important. And I feel like there are times where it's needed rather than not. Well, I'll say when I feel like things need to be rewritten, the most of the time it's because the artist wants it, or they want it to fit their, you know, their actual life, or, you know, oh, I can't say something like that, or if someone just doesn't think that a line is strong enough, I'll consider it. But a lot of times I do feel like I rely off of my gut and my first instinct. So I'm like, what I wrote that was the magic. And, you know, when I'm writing it, I'm not trying to half-ass anything. So I'm actually putting thought into the words. And really, for me, it's up to the artist. It's like, if they like it, this is how you should cut it. And if not, then let's go back in and rewrite it to make it the best thing for you.
Okay, so what are some of the songwriting routines that you do to just make sure that you keep on, you know, working on your craft and, you know, pushing your levels and your boundaries for yourself? What do you do to like improve your ability to write differently about concepts, different melodies and everything?
Something that someone told me really stuck with me, and it's education. Music education, and just always listening to music, and not just the new music that's out, but like going back to the 70s and the 60s, and, you know, different genres of music. There's so many things that can spark different melodies and concepts and words, and just different avenues of, you know, how to go about a song. And when you listen to these different genres, I feel like they definitely make you bend the boundaries when you're creating. So that's one thing that I make sure that I do. Is I'm a music hoarder. Like, I have to have my phone on the most gig. Like, think this is like almost like 1,200 gig or something like that, just because I have thousands and thousands, maybe millions of music. Like I'll tell you, in my iTunes library right now, I have, wait, why it's not telling me? What is it? I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a way I can, for some reason it's not showing me. I think because I updated it, but usually it's like a year worth of songs.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Those are many hours. So you listen to different genres from different eras and everything.
Always.
Okay, what are some common mistakes that you think new songwriters make that we as, growing artists should look out for?
Say that question one more time.
What are some common mistakes that new songwriters make that we as artists should look out for?
Some mistakes. One thing I do notice is that songwriters tend to, and there's a term we kind of use is be songwritery, and that's when a songwriter will kind of try to make a song too poetic, where they're trying to, in their head they're like, let's make the most beautiful song that you've ever heard in your life. And it's like sometimes when that happens, it doesn't come across to the listener as like something that can really register the first time. Like a song shouldn't be so hard for you to decipher. Sometimes that's why the simplest songs go off, because songs are meant to be related to. That's why people listen to songs, is because it helps them go about their day. It heals them. It might be something that they're going through, and a song needs to be a conversation. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see in songs all the time, is that sometimes there's lines that are just a little too smart, a little too broad, a little too poetic. And it's like, yes, if you were writing a poem, this is great, but this is a song.
Ooh, okay, I think that's very important to note. So amongst the group of the Nvak artists that we have here in Malawi, we have some who write in one of our local languages, which is Tumbuka, but also Chichewa. So when writing like 2 to 3 languages in a song,
Oh, wow.
what do you think about the how could one cleverly combine the difference in languages, the English and the local languages, in a way that would get the audience to understand the vibe? They might not understand the language, but at least maybe they can understand the vibe. What would you recommend? Is that something you've done?
That is, well, there's one song where there were 2 different languages, and that was the World Cup song. Maluma, well, actually, not just Maluma. The World Cup song with Jason Derulo. We ended up having like artists from almost like 20 different countries put a new verse on it. So it was English and then in another language. But I don't think I've ever done a song where there were 3 languages. But what I will say is, in order to target all 3 different audiences, you definitely want to, I guess there's 2 ways you can go about it. You can have 3 different verses, or, well, I guess 3 ways. 3 different verses was one way. Another option is, just having the hooks in English and, spreading out the different languages in the verses. And then the third way I would say is go back and forth with all 3 languages in the verses, but make sure that they rhyme. Because as long as they rhyme, then, everyone will be able to sing along.
That's so interesting. That's cool. That's good feedback,
It really is, actually. It's really, really interesting. And hopefully over the next few weeks, you'll be able to see that in action as well. The final question that I have here, and maybe we can open the floor for the girls to contribute as well.
Kim can hear me. Kim?
Yes?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say to the girls and to Nija that on the playlist that we're going to play her today, we do have songs that have multiple languages in them. So it'll be interesting to see how she reacts to like a song with like verses in a local language and then like the hooks in English, and it will be good to kind of get her reaction.
Nice.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear it. I really can't. Should a song have a standard form every time for it to be good? And how? No, go ahead.
No, just I've learned that, sometimes a song can be a freestyle with no chorus, and it can be a really, really great song. And sometimes the song might not even rhyme, but it can be a hit. There's no rules when it comes to music is the main thing. Usually, there has to be two to three verses and like actually being a bridge and a hook, which that's like the standard, but there's no formula to making a hit song.
Could you expand a little more on how you feel about breaking the norm while still writing popular music?
The norm, you're talking about like bending the boundaries when it comes to an actual like the okay. So I think when it comes to writing songs, I make sure that I always put a hook in there. But sometimes, what I've learned is a lot of the writers that I've been in with try to make a hook and then a post. And sometimes it's like, sometimes the hook just needs to be only a hook and then you go to a verse. I know a lot of the older musicians have always, been like, you have to put a bridge, but it's like some of the greatest songs, today are only like 2 minutes and that's it. So you don't need to do that. So I make sure that I only do 2 verses unless the song calls for it. And that's really what I base my writing off of every song. What does the song need? That's what I ask myself when I'm in the studio creating, and it's different every time.
Thank you so much. Those are pretty much all the questions that we had for show, but the floor is open to any one of the girls who wants to ask some questions. Please feel free. Let's make the most of the time. Guys, what's your favorite era?
Really quick.
Can I just ask one more question?
Yeah, but before that, I want to be mindful of Nija's time, and I do want her to go through the SoundCloud and do like a listening, because I think that we'll be able to learn a lot too, just from her critique of these songs.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, we should start that process so that we don't go over what we told her the time requirement was for this, because we're already so thankful for doing this and giving us her time.
I sent through a link right there to a SoundCloud that should have demos from a lot of the artists that are here and a few who couldn't make it, but from all of our regions as well.
Nice.
Can you open it up okay?
Yep.
All right, sweet.
Are you ready to dive in?
Yeah, and then if it's your song, guys, unmute yourself so that you can have like
afterwards.
So, Crazy I Do, Rosalind.
Hey, Roses.
All right, let's get into it.
The sun is down and I'm at the beach. The water's touching my feet, got it loose so complete. I almost got everything I need, but everything is so relative. like crazy I do. Like crazy I do, like crazy I do, like crazy I do. It's bittersweet cause I'm feeling hurt.
Okay.
All the songs that I'm singing feel so out of tune.
Okay, so my first thoughts is I can see that going viral on TikTok. But one thing I did notice is that I can't sing the hook back to you. The part right before the post, the crazy I do you.
Mhm.
That part is catchy, but the part before it, it was nice melodies. It just, I don't think it was catchy enough. I think there may need to be maybe just formatting it a little differently with your melodies. And I think the production just needs to be polished a bit.
Okay.
Rosa co-produced that, by the way. Rosa's a producer, so that
Nice.
was, yeah. So production and songwriting feedback would be awesome, because most of the girls are producing and writing their stuff.
Cool. Yeah, production wise, I think it just needs to be polished up a bit, and that really comes with mixing and making sure that all your frequencies are, EQ'd right, and just making sure that everything sits well.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. All right. Next one. Joy Esther Lewis. She's not on here? Okay.
Yeah, Esther couldn't make it today, but I'll pass along feedback to her.
Cool.
There is peace that comes from inside, that joy you cannot deny. Tendré escucho que no entiendo, si mueve yo sabré
Okay. I really, really love her voice. That was really nice. So a couple things. I think this is, I don't think this is a hit, but this is a really good album cut. Another thing, it sounds more like a demo to me. So, of course there's, things just to be polished up. Vocal wise, I think, and she has a crazy voice, but I think just to be aligned with the times, it's like the sound of songs is, using auto-tune or just a little bit of pitch correction just to make it sound a little digital. I think just a touch of it. She's on pitch for sure. I just think just to keep up with the actual sound of music. And I think the production, if she wants to keep it acoustic, that's fine. I think maybe adding like a pad or something, or just a little bit of extra elements just to kind of fill the song up more. If she wants to keep it drumless, that's fine. But I think just kind of filling it up with other elements to make it feel full. The background vocals definitely gave it that feeling that it needed. But I think production-wise, there could still be more. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, I can't pronounce this. Helen Nyasulu. Nice. Nice. So for that song, I could see that song being like on a movie or a TV show. I could see that being a big sync record. I think that the song could be so much, well, production-wise, it could be so much bigger just because the melodies and the vocals and the harmonies, for sure, like, were so good that it made me want to hear just a fuller production to match with the top line. I think there'd be a kick drum in there just to give it some punch and some power. I think just more elements and just making production just a little bit more fuller to match how good the actual song is. Because the vocals, and I don't know what she was saying, but just melody-wise and the structure of the song, it's really good. I feel like production hasn't reached its full potential yet, but it could definitely get there. That's that one. Okay. Sweet Disaster, Brunette. On here?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Let's get into it.
Sensitive and dry. So hard to keep kind of hard. My heart is made. So much they say. When I need to go, yeah, you want me to stay. I'm a sweet disaster. Let me distract you. Perfectly. It's so honey, it's on fire. Sweet disaster. Let me distract you. Perfectly, perfectly. So honey, it's on fire. You are a combination of sensitive and shy. Watching your reaction is getting you so high. You like the way that I move, yeah. You and the rest of the crew, yeah. I don't got something to prove, yeah. It's just the way that I move, yeah. You are rubbing up in the sky, yeah. I always run away, yeah. Oh yeah, and one more thing that I should say to you. Sweet your lips on honey, eyes on fire. You can deny it, I'm your desire. My love is poison, but you've chosen. You've been frozen, and I'm what you need a little bit of mountain. Is it helping? We can test it.
Okay, that was really, 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 really good. That was
Thank
really
you. To be honest, that was like the previous version. I've changed a lot. I think that they have chosen the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
I have like a new version of this. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what changes you've made, but just to this one, just besides the mix, I would say on that second half of on the last hook. So you know how you had the hook come twice. The second time it comes around, I would put even more harmonies to kind of differentiate it and make it. I think I don't remember how the structure was in the first verse, but I think in the second verse when you started rapping, it made me miss something that was in the first verse. I don't know if it was a pre or just something or the hook again. But you know, it can do without. It was just something that I noticed that I did miss once it got back to the hook. And yeah, that's it. I really like the song.
Thank you. Thanks.
Of course. All right. Do You, Gracie Bonzo. She on here?
You don't know what you want. Tell me if I'm wrong. Been distant too long. They got me singing this song with candy in my hand. Think I'm gonna take another sip. Crazy, we drown like a sheep. Though I try keeping close. Been going on for too long. Starting to realize that you don't know how to love me. Do you? Tell me why you're fronting. Can't you just be honest? We both grown here. Don't you think we're too old for this? If you wanna go ghost, boy, just get lost. Looking like I'm done the most.
Okay, so that song, I really like her voice. Everyone go on mute. Sorry, there was feedback. No, there's still feedbacking. I think. Oh no, it's from you, Gracie. My bad. I think I really really love your voice. One thing was way too short. It cuts off. I don't know if that was like by accident or like a bouncing issue. I really love the production. I do think though you should maybe pick a different kick pattern. I like the hi-hats. I think a different kick pattern and maybe a better kick. And one thing I would recommend is playing with that and the 808s in FL Studio, because you know when it comes to this kind of music, the drums hit harder there. I really like the melodies and the production. I like your melodies a lot top line wise, but I feel like there wasn't a structure, so it was hard for me to like I can't sing the song back to you. You have really dope melodies. I think you just have to structure it just a bit better. And yeah.
Yeah, noted. Thank you. And basically, it was just a vibe, and I was playing around with FL here and there, and I just came up with that because that was how I was feeling at that moment. So I decided to just pipe it down a little bit.
Nice, yeah, vibe. Got my bad. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my bad. It's in and out. But yeah, I think in FL, just maybe try to download some other patterns and drum kits. Like I know there's some free drum kits. Like if you try and download on the internet, Boy Wonder free drum kit. Like, there's hundreds of drums that's in that kit, and like if you just do research, like just search up like the biggest urban producers and try to search their name in a drum kit, and there's something online. Usually they put stuff up for free on their websites and stuff. But yeah, just try to find a harder hitting kick and choose a different pattern for it. But yeah, cool. All right, Cigarette, Kim a Diamond.
Like in the big movie, this might not end well. I know you can tell. I've had my share, building castles and I knew that news would cause you hell. But I try to tell it like it is. Ooh, make me smoke a cigarette. Ooh, yeah. You make me smoke a cigarette. Oh, baby. Make me smoke a cigarette. Driving me crazy. Oh, you driving me crazy. Ooh, making me smoke. Making me smoke. Ooh, making me smoke. Making me smoke. Ooh, driving me crazy.
Oh man, another one. I think there might be bouncing issues, maybe.
That one is halfway recorded. Sorry, my bad.
All good, all good. I really, really love that. I think I wanted to hear it recorded because that was really, really good, production wise and top line wise. One thing I did notice though, I'm gonna go back. So right here. So in that hook, make me smoke a cigarette, yeah, yeah, make me want a cigarette, yeah, yeah. Then the third line, change the line to something that rhymes with that. I won't forget.
Okay.
And then have the same fourth line, and then repeat the hook one more time, and then go into your next part.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Of course. That was really good. Okay.
Thank
Call
you.
Me Cool, Rachel Dove.
When you look at me, it's like a needle hits fire. And in my heart, and it's over, I gotta restart. When I look at you, I'm scared that I might go blind. Feels like I'm falling down. I just hope that you notice me when I'm there. Don't know if you care. I just hope that you notice me when I'm there. I hope you care. Can you call for me? Invite me to your party. Can you call me cool? 'Cause I wanna be a fool for you when you need someone to make you feel sorry. Can you call me cool? Can you call me cool? For you when you need someone to make you feel sorry. Can you call me cool? I'm walking in the street, I know I'll find you there. I'm praying peace and God for you to please be fair. You're walking in the street, wearing flowers in your hair. I wanna run to you. I just hope that you notice me when I'm there. Don't know if you care. I just hope that you notice me when I'm there. I hope you care. Can you call for me? Invite me to your party. Can you call me cool? 'Cause I wanna be a fool for you when you need someone to make you feel sorry. Can you call me cool? Can you call me cool? For you when you need someone to make you feel sorry. Can you call me cool? I know you probably don't really like us, but baby, I am too afraid to ask. But what if you do feel that feeling that isn't, baby, I'm not far. Can you call for me? Invite me to your party. Can you call me cool? 'Cause I wanna be a fool for you when you need someone to make you feel sorry. Can you call me cool? Can you call for me? Invite me to your party. Can you call me cool? 'Cause I wanna be a fool for you when you need someone to make you feel sorry. Can you call me cool?
Nice. Okay, so I like this song a lot. I really like your voice. I really like the production. I think production-wise, the kick could be a little stronger, punchier, harder. So I like the pattern. I would just switch out the kick drum for just a stronger one. One thing, well, there's a couple things that I wanted to say. So I'm gonna go to the
I just hope that you notice me when I'm there. I hope you care.
Right, so I just hope dun, 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 feel me when I'm there. Dun, 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 dun. I would repeat it, and then the second time, dun, 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 dun. Just have it different on the last one, but I would repeat that note because that note was so nice. Just me when I'm there. And then one other thing.
Can you call for me? Invite me to your party. Can you call me cool? 'Cause I wanna be a fool for you when you need someone to make you feel sorry. Can you call me cool?
So there's something, I like the melody of the hook. I feel like some of the notes are messing with me because there's stronger notes that can be done in this hook, and I can't pin my finger on it. You're wild and you call me cool. Call me cool. I think maybe it might just be that one part because you're going and my gut wants it to go. In a minute, like it needs that resolution. But other than that, I really like it. Really dope. And I think this was a dope concept and a different way to, you know, I like the conversational songs. Really cool. All right. Next one, Hold It Down.
No time, no fun. Stand around, pour down insults on my game. Alright, never mind when I fall down. Go again, more rounds. Bruises on my face. Younger man with me, with me, with me. Neighbor, see me, see me, see me. I am working my way. Sing that one, hit it, hit it, hit it. Teach your man, see me, see me, see me. I'm not giving up, no way. By grace, I'll hold it down. Hold it down. I'm so hard and hold it down. Hold it down. Faith, I will hold it down. Hold it down. Go hard and hold it down. Hold it down. They'll know that I held it down. Daybreak, no sun. Bulletproof, no gun. I'm living in fear. Alright. God says go run. Have faith, no doubt. Ignition and gear. Younger man with me, with me, with me. Neighbor, see me, see me, see me. I am working my way. Sing that one, hit it, hit it, hit it. Teach your man, see me, see me, see me. I'm not giving up, no way. By grace, I'll hold it down. Hold it down. I'm so hard and hold it down. Hold it down. By faith, I will hold it down. It down, go hard and hold it down. Hold it down. They'll know that I held it down.
Okay, I really like that song. What I really, really love about the song is the hook. I really love the hook, and I love the lyrics of the song. I feel like the hook is very strong. I like the production. I think it mix-wise, it just needs to sit with the vocals, or have the vocals sit better on the beat, because it sounds like it's louder than the actual beat. One other thing I will say is, when I first heard the hook, I off the bat felt like the verse didn't match up to the hook. I feel like the hook is so good that you would need to rework the verse. And this is just melodic wise, because the lyrics are great throughout the song. I feel like I don't know what it would be, but I feel like it needs to match how good the hook is, and how good it feels. And another thing in the pre, I like there's two things about the pre. I like the I think let me go back to it just so I don't mess it up.
Well, bruises. Come on with me, with me, with me. Neighbor, see me, see me, see me. I am working my way.
I am working my way. I think there can be a stronger melody there, because I like the like, that's so catchy and grabbing, and it feels good, that it almost falls short, because that's the resolution to the pre. So I feel like if you pick a new melody for that, it will be fire. And another thing, the low background vocals on the are a little pitchy. It kind of throws me off. So whether it's auto-tune or just recutting the vocals, I think that will help it so much more. But overall, I think the song is really good. Cool.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. Next one, Image of You. Sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Gagach, CCG. Max Hirsch now.
If you're short on time, because I know we've gone over an hour, Gagach isn't on the chat. So if you want to move on to the next two, which is with Martha and I don't know who's in, then we have like 3 more after that. It's totally your call. But Gagach submitted hers, but she's not on the call today.
Cool. Yeah. Just let me know who's on here.
Yep, Martha is for sure. And then who else? Olivia, what else do we have on that? Because I don't have it pulled up.
Chisomo, you're here. Yes, Chisomo's here as well.
Yes.
So figure it out. The next one.
Maggie, Martha, Chisomo, and Joyce.
Cool.
So the
and Vanessa.
The only one on this list is Martha on the SoundCloud link.
Chisomo are both here, so you can play theirs for sure.
Okay. All right. Chisomo, figure it out.
Easy go. Try to make you stay, but you're so ready to leave. Have nothing to do with me. But I don't get why you don't realize we can figure it out, figure it out. 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 Let's try to talk about it. You say there's nothing to say about it. I try to apologize, I do. But you won't look me in my eyes. So I still don't get why you don't realize, no, that we could figure it out, figure it out. We could figure it out, figure it out. We could figure it out, figure it out. We could figure it out, oh, yeah, but I still don't get why you don't realize. We could figure it out, figure it out. We could figure it out, figure it out. We could figure it out, figure it out. We could figure it out, figure it out.
Nice. Okay. So what I really love about this is your choice of chord progressions. I thought the guitar was really pretty, note-wise, and just the whole progression of the song. Besides the bridge, I feel like it was off a little bit. I think that's great arrangement, and yeah, I just felt like your chord choice was very pretty. In progression choice. I do feel like the song could be stronger as a whole. One thing I did like was the pre. I liked how spaced out the pre was, but I feel like because the guitar was so pretty and the chord progression was so nice, I felt like there was a more attacking way that you could have got on the song, because part is so nice, you kind of want to grab my attention as soon as the song starts. And it didn't grab me. It was just, I was just kind of riding the wave, just
like flowing. Yeah.
Going with the flow. So yeah, I would say making sure that you catch my attention in the beginning of the song. And you definitely have structure down pack and, you know, repetition in the hook. But I think with these chords, the hook may need something just a little bit more busier instead of just figure it out.
I remember. I do remember one of the suggestions being changing up the melody a bit on like the third time I'm going on the hook. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna put that in there.
Nice. Yeah, just keep playing with stuff and just experiment with your range.
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course. All right. And Be Real, Martha. 1, 2.
Show you love, but lots of broken hearted. Don't wanna share the story, just wanna believe again. Show you love, but lots of broken hearted. Don't wanna share the story, just wanna believe again. We all be real lovers. Your past, your story doesn't matter. We all be real lovers. And we all be real lovers. Your past, your story doesn't matter. We all be real lovers. Don't you pretend you can fight it up in me, see. They don't need your story, sweep away the pain. Don't you pretend you can fight it up in me, see. They don't need your story, sweep away the pain. And we all be real lovers. Your past, your story doesn't matter. We all be real lovers. And we all be real lovers. Your past, your story doesn't matter. We all be real lovers. And we all be real lovers. And we all be
Nice. Okay, so because this is on the guitar, I know this is like a demo, so I get the full idea of the song. So I think unless this is, you know, how you're trying to put the song out, it's pretty known, like, just, you know, make a second verse. Did you have a second verse? I think it needs one more verse, and just to build the track out, you know, when you want to release it. Or if it's just an acoustic vibe, just, you know, adding more elements to it. This song reminds me a lot of, like, an India Irie or Corinne Bailey Rae type of song. And I really like that because, you know, that's what I grew up listening to with my mom. I think I really love the hook. We could be real lovers. I like the lyrics of this song a lot. The break right before the hook, I think it might not need to go both times. I think maybe just on the first one. Let me replay.
But lots of broken hearted. Wanna share the story, just wanna believe again. We love the lots of broken hearted. Don't wanna share the story, just
So that part, because there's going to be a break, I wanna know the story, don't wanna believe again. I think there can be a different melody or a note change. I wanna hear the story, I wanna need a change. Oh wait, no, never mind, because you're hitting that note. We could be real lovers. Maybe experimenting in your higher register. The wanna feel the story, the wanna need to change. We could be real lovers. Yeah, I think maybe experimenting in your higher register, so then when it falls on that dip, it feels much better. And yeah, just build out the track and record the song for real, for real. Yeah, that's it for that song.
So I think that's all we have as far as everybody who's on the call, because we know it's getting close to 2. So we really appreciate it. And sorry that everybody didn't get to go. We kind of went with the songs that were the most finished that were uploaded. But we really appreciate you going through all that. That's so cool.
Of course. This was fun.
Do you guys want to can I take a screenshot? Can everybody smile and we'll take a picture of the screen? Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Of course.
Does anybody have any last questions? You can unmute your mic.
What is your favorite era of music? What's that era in music that you were like, oh my God, I wish I was born in this era, or something like that? An era that really excites you musically.
Honestly, my favorite era of music I was already born in, and my favorite era of music used to be 90s, but I've come to terms that my real favorite era of music is like the late 2000s. And that's like 2005 to like 2010, and that's when, you know, T-Pain and The Dream started coming out, and just all these, it was like the beginning of how music sounds today. It was like that beginning of change to how urban and pop music is heard now. So that's what was playing during my childhood when I was, you know, older than a baby, when I was like in 4th grade, and really just in my childhood, and I would sing on these songs on the bus with my school friends. So the songs from that era is really, I think, what shaped me. Like Drake, the beginning was during that time. Yeah, that was a great era.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm not talking about a dream, but who's the artist that you really want to write for? Like a goal, like you have to write for that artist. Who's that?
The Weeknd.
Yay.
Yeah. I always made sure that I wrote down goals of like the artists that I really wanted to get to, and it became harder and harder because I knocked out pretty much everyone I wanted to work with in like my first year and a half. So it was really hard to like think of like who haven't I worked with in person that like I really want to, and who inspires me. And really it's like really The Weeknd.
It's really cool.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Where are you? I can't.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you can hear me. I'm right here. Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to ask about writing. When it comes to writing, and maybe you have to write in a concept that's pretty personal and maybe something that you have gone through, what measures do you use to, you know, draw a line where there's some things that you can't exactly tell to the world, but you want to have an overview of what happened to you? How do you draw a line right there?
I think that's really up to you. Like me, I'm very, very personal. So I don't usually put like the things that I don't really want even talk to people about. I don't, if I don't want about it, I don't put it in the song. If it's not a conversation that I can have with at least one person, then, you know, that just means I'm just not comfortable to talk about that. But if I feel like I need to get a release, then, you know, there are no drawing the lines when it comes to song. It's, you know, it's what I need to heal me. And that's really just up to me and, you know, how far I want to go.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for all logging on. And thank you so much, Nija.
Of course. All these songs were really dope, and I'm inspired by, you know, just the fact that you guys are all really in tune when creating your own music and production and top line and, you know, melody choices. These were really dope, and I'm probably going to be putting these in my own playlist to just, you know, jam out to.
Nija, if you ever want to do co-write with these girls,
Always on the table.
Ready?
We are ready.
And we'll send you a link to this too. We're going to upload this to our foundation YouTube, and we'll send you a link so you can all watch it back or send it to who wasn't here today.
Fire. Thank you guys so much.
We're so thankful.
Guys.
Of course. Thank you for even inviting me. Like, I've never gotten able to, you know, talk to people around the world in this way and just have a Zoom to really just, you know, talk one-on-one with all of you guys. And I do this on my live, but it's usually people, you know, who are in LA or in New York and just in the US. So being able to branch out where you guys are around the globe is really cool. So I'm glad that you guys are pursuing this and, you know, taking matters into your own hands.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night, you guys. Peace, Nija.
Have a lovely night.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.